la prima la bici e poi la seconda parte in montagna. Questa sfida è importante per me perché la ritengo un qualcosa di, tra virgolette, di anormale. Da subito, quando ne ho sentito parlare, mi è rimasta impressa. Da quando Nico Vassese nel 2013 ha tentato il record e tuttora detiene il record.
Comprehensive look at Matteo's life outside of sport in order to show us what motivates him as an athlete. I also felt that stylistically, the film did a great job building tension around the limited amount of time that the athlete has to accomplish this challenge, as well as other factors that are out of his control and out of the team's control, and that the stress that they felt was really visually conveyed. I also felt that the shots that were chosen showed the closeness that an athlete has to have with nature in order to accomplish this, and also just the truly epic nature of this undertaking, I feel like was very accurately and impactfully shown.
I really enjoyed this film. Just from the start, I thought it was great. Just some great editing, and it does such a great job of setting the stage for the film and the stakes and what the challenge is and what Matteo will be going through. And the director does such a great job of this throughout the film. You know, even with Matteo's friend Stefano explaining the difficulty of the challenge, which, I mean, I already assumed it was hard. I don't think I could do it, but him really saying the difficulty, I thought was really helpful. And I thought it's a small thing, but the cut to black and the cut of the music and sound was really good at adding suspense to the film. And going back to Matteo's friend again, Stefano, he was just so great and, you know, really beautifully kind of conveyed the message of, you know, that it's not always about the ending point, it's about the journey. And yeah, I really enjoyed
I
it.
love the shots in Elevate. Really, really beautiful footage of the mountains, the grass, the sky, the beach, just everything. I thought the footage did a really great job of capturing the emotion that the music and the voiceover was conveying and the storytelling, and I just thought it added a lot to it and just all together worked really well.
My dad was really into like ultra marathon running growing up, so I watched a ton of documentaries about that. And I've seen, you know, marathon running, trail running, biking, like documentaries just as something that came along with his interests, but I've never really seen, you know, summiting these mountains and these really long and strenuous trail runs going up and biking, cycling journeys going up these mountains in the same way or context. So it was really, really interesting. So I enjoyed the subject matter a lot. I think you also did a great job of covering this cyclist, this athlete and his team, and, you know, all the different aspects that go into a summit like this. So you really build the credibility of this endeavor by bringing in so many different people saying how challenging this event is and the training that has to go into it. But you also, that builds to this climax of this actual movement as well. So just very, very well done. You almost lead us up the hill with the narrative as this individual goes up the hill as well. So just very well done.
I really enjoyed this one. I thought that it was gorgeously shot. That was the thing that kind of jumped out to me, aside from the, you know, the story, which I feel like is super compelling. The actual shots themselves, you know, it's beautiful, scenic, and I think it's captured really well. I kind of like I don't know if they had like a black Promus filter or if they were just, you know, boosting the black. So it has like that kind of like faux film look, and yeah, but I loved it. I thought it like looked really nice, and it had like a cool. I'm looking at it now, and it seems like the highlights kind of have like a little bit of fringing, like around the lights, like some haloing. So that, I'm assuming there was a filter on it, but I really dug it. I think it has a cool kind of ethereal feel that matches the story.
Early on, he started suffering some setbacks, and the camera work was really great in the sequence. The camera started shaking and started showing a lot of extreme close-ups. The film did a really good job of creating that unsettling environment, and making you feel, the stress, all the difficulties that Matteo put on himself when taking on this challenge. And as we saw, the further up he went, he started suffering from a lack of oxygen. And after, especially after showing all the preparation that he did building up to the challenge, being asked to abandon it, which, they started off the film with that. And then once they caught up to that moment in the film, we saw how hard that was to take for Matteo. But then he eventually accepted, the real goal. He eventually succeeded in what he sought out to achieve, which was uniting all the people, bringing all the people that are close to him, and sort of getting them all united on this one front of conquering this challenge and honoring his mother. So despite him ultimately not succeeding in the challenge, the film does end on a very positive note, and it was a very positive message overall. So I really liked it.
What I found most interesting about this, and I appreciated the filmmakers being honest about this, is he fails. He gets there's bad weather, and then he's got kind of a fractured foot he's dealing with, and then he starts to get high altitude sickness, and they have to call it off, and that's the end of the film. Most of these films, they, no matter what happens, they try to craft some sort of hopeful story, and there was still hope with this guy. But I appreciated the filmmakers allowing this story to be what it was.
Fascinating watch. I think mostly because it didn't end up the way that so many people would expect it to end up, with him overcoming all of the difficulties and challenges and being able to succeed in the end. It was just, it didn't take that turn, and it was in fact the complete opposite, where he didn't get to finish to reach his goals. And I think that just made this so much more interesting to kind of see how much work was put into it from the beginning, and all the planning that went into it, all the people who are involved, and then for them to not be able to actually get to their end goal. And so it was just interesting to kind of see the change in mind frame at the very end, where everyone didn't become pessimistic about it and was defeated and was like, we're never doing this again. I can't believe we spent so much time on it. It became more of like, okay, this is what we learned from this time around. What can we do in the future to make sure that we actually succeed? And so it's just like seeing that mind frame change in so many different people. It was just so inspirational to see, and just very interesting to watch this entire journey, and like how the mental state of everyone kind of shifts through everything and until the very end. So I thought it was just a very interesting journey to witness and to watch, and the filming of it was really cool to even imagine other people going through this with him and being like, okay, we're going to even sit in this car and just drive by with him. It's really, really cool to be to know that there are people out there who believe in someone so much that they're going to spend their time doing that. So overall, really great documentary, and yeah, it was just really fun to watch.
Wow. I mean, all that dedication, all that work, and to not fully make it, and yet to understand and know that you've still reached a goal. You've still brought what he said at the end, where he brought, bringing these people together, working together for a common goal. Just beautiful. So inspiring. So amazing. I loved every second of this movie. And oh my God, the footage. gorgeous shots, really beautifully shot, beautifully filmed, beautifully directed, excellent editing. Just across the board, a really inspiring, beautiful story. I'm so glad you made this. Congratulations. Thank you so much for sharing it.